Iowa farmers are feeling the pinch as the Trump administration doubles down on tariff and trade disputes. Iowa soybean prices are down 20% since the first tariffs were levied in March. Pork, corn, and other products are also down in price, with farmers wondering what's next in this uncertain market. Today, the president claimed his trade battle with China, Canada, Mexico, and the European Union will eventually benefit farmers, and he asked them for patience. In the meantime, he's announced $12 billion in temporary relief for farmers hurt by tariffs. Iowa Congressman David Young joins us now to talk a little bit about this. Thank you so much for today, Congressman Young.
It's a pleasure. Glad to be here.
So first of all, let's talk about how this is all going to work as far as this bailout for farmers. It comes from the Commodity Credit Corporation, and money from that will be used to buy the crops. Is that correct?
Well, the president has authority to use some accounts through the Commodity Credit Corporation to give relief to farmers. Now, what this really is, though, is the administration, the president, admitting that his trade policies are hurting Iowa farmers and producers all across the heartland, for that matter. And so that's very disturbing. And so farmers want markets. They want trade and not necessarily this aid.
So you oppose these tariffs. You oppose the president's action to begin with to impose these tariffs.
Tariffs are taxes on consumers, on employers, on sellers, on everybody up and down the chain.
So what is Congress going to do about it?
Well, we need to put the pressure on this administration to have a clear game plan of what the objectives are by this administration when it comes to trade. What is the end goal? China's a bad player. We all know that. They've been manipulating us for a long time, and they've been manipulating the World Trade Organization as well. We need to persuade the president to come up with a plan, the end goal, and isolate China, work with our allies to do that. And I think the president needs to sit down with President Xi of China.
So the president today said that eventually this is all going to be great. This is going to be great for farmers. In fact, this is what he tweeted. Tariffs are the greatest. Either a country which has treated the United States unfairly on trade negotiates a fair deal, or it gets hit with tariffs. It's as simple as that. And everybody's talking. Remember, we are the piggy bank that's being robbed. All will be great. So you do not agree with the president there that all will be great?
I think things can improve if there's a clear objective and plan, and that we work with our allies to isolate China, bring them to the table. Now, we need to take care of the NAFTA agreement and get that squared away, and I think that we will be doing that this summer. I'm hopeful of that, and so is agriculture, and so is the administration. But in the long run, you know, what the president tweets and says is one thing, but that's a lot different than the effect of what's happening in our rural communities because of the president's actions with the tariffs.
The president said that he wanted farmers to be patient. Do you think farmers, especially some of those smaller farmers who are really struggling already, can buy that kind of time?
You know, farmers can be as patient as long as the bottom line is there with the bank or a note that they have, and they need income. Agriculture income has been down about 5 years in a row. We've got the best goods and services in the world when it comes to agriculture, and anything else in Iowa for that matter, manufacturing and so on. We need markets. We need a real plan by the president, and we need it sooner rather than later. And that will give some confidence to agriculture. We need to get the farm bill done as well, and thank goodness that we got rid of the EPA Administrator Pruitt, who was not being cooperative with the president's goals of making sure we had a strong renewable fuels and biofuel standard.
So it sounds to me like you don't agree with the president on a whole lot these days. Certainly not on the tariff and his trade policies, and you did not agree with him having Pruitt in the EPA. What's going to happen here as we come up on the midterm elections?
Well, there's some things that I'll agree with the president on in terms of rolling back some onerous rules and regulations, the tax relief that has helped so many Iowa families and small businesses. But, you know, you look at the policies. My boss is people of the 3rd District of Iowa. The president's the president. He's not my boss. Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, is not my boss. I answer to the people of the 3rd District. And the campaigns and elections take care of themselves, but I'm focused on policy and what I'm hearing from the people that I work for there in the 3rd District.
And one final question. There's $12 billion that is allocated for this aid for farmers. What is the likelihood that will run out, and what will happen if and when it does run out?
Well, it depends on how long this goes on, this trade war. And the battles have turned into a war. And part of that, we know, is because of this aid that is going to go forward through the administration. We need to make sure that the president needs to land this plane. He needs to do it sooner rather than later. He needs to isolate China, get the NAFTA agreement done with Canada and Mexico, work with our allies, and also the World Trade Organization needs to make sure that China is playing by the rules as well.
All right, Congressman David Young, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to be with us today.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you.